What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I did something spicy. So basically, I went to locals with ABC, and I had a cool build that I may or may not have sort of net decked, but it wasn't like a complete net deck. I made this my own kind of way because I've been playing this deck for a very long time, and I stopped playing it for a very long time as well. Probably like a year and a half now, to be honest. But I decided to play it because I really like this deck. The deck that I got my first top with, and I really love it. So I decided to spice things up, play it my way. I went to locals. I went X1, and I lost the Pendulum Magician in the final round, which kind of sucks. But it's not even that bad. It's not even that I bricked. For some reason, he just always had hand traps and like multiple, and I couldn't really do anything against that. But anyways, I'll get right into the deck profile, to be honest. I'll show you guys the main deck, the side deck, and the extra deck. So for the main deck, I mean, I think it's pretty standard. A is back to 3, and so we're going to play 3. B is back to 3. Actually, B is always been at 3. And B is going to be at 3 because it's the best one, and C is at 3. I will never, ever, I've been playing this deck literally since this came out, and like, I will never, ever agree to ratios that are less than this. Like, these cards are just too good. And then we're playing 1 heavy mech support armor. I saw some people play 2. Most of the profiles that I was looking at before I like actually decided to make this play 2, I don't really like it because it's only really good going like once you set up a field kind of thing, or once you have like you get going basically. But opening it, you never want to open it. You always want to search off Gigant. And if you guys want, honestly, forget, like, I won't do a combo in this video, but I'm gonna actually make an ABC combo video as well, so you guys can check that out. It'll probably come up day after this video goes up or whatever. But yeah, I'll make a combo video so I can show you guys what this deck can do, but it's really consistent and it's really, really good. Then I'm playing triple gold and triple silver. Now, the reason for this is that I hate playing 2 and 2. Second of all, if, you know, worst case scenario, what you can do is you can just like, this should never happen. I'm just gonna say this now. But worst case scenario, if you're just bad, you can like set a gold gadget, and if it dies, you can summon a silver from your deck, and then you can just float a little bit, make the deck like livable basically. And then I'm playing 3 Galaxy Soldier. This is not, I guess, some people can say it's standard. I didn't like it for a long time, but I actually kind of like it now because it actually sets up a lot of negates, and it sets up a really good board presence, so it's actually really, really good. Now, instead of playing Brilliant, which I see a lot of people play in ABC, I decided to play 3 Symphonic Warrior guitar and 1 Symphonic Warrior mics. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, there was one game where I drew the mics, and I drew mics and guitar, and I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is horrible, like, I can't do anything. And then I realized they're both scales, and they're scales 1 and 7, which means I could just pen out all the other monsters, and that's really, really good in my opinion. So that's why I like this engine's actually not, like, it's better than the Brilliant engine in my opinion, because 1, it gives you a level 5 machine monster to make infinity, but 2, if you do end up drawing both, they're just scales that you can activate. Now, this is like a tech that I decided to play, was Speedroid Passing Glider, and the reason I decided to play this was because honestly I only had 1 Solar Windjammer, but if you have 3 Solar Windjammer, I would definitely recommend playing 3 of this over the Passing Glider. And so here's my reasoning as to why both of these are pretty good. Even though I did, like, I'll just so you guys know, like, I didn't end up playing this, but I think you should play this at 3. It's better than this. So the reason why is this is basically like a junk forward for your deck for machines. Basically, if you control no monsters, you can special summon it. Passing Glider does kind of the same thing, but Passing Glider means says that there has to be no monsters on field, which kind of sucks because if you go second, this is kind of like dead as a monster. However, it did come up a couple times where I had Passing Glider and Guitar and Scale, and like, I know it sounds so janky, but it's actually really good when you can pen summon, like, your mics dies or you link away with your mics, you can just pen summon it back out. Like, that's pretty good. Like, I don't think it's horrible. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even though this gives you the ability to pen summon, I think Solar Windjammer is better because just going second, you just, like, it's not that good going second, of course, unless you draw the guitar, which I did, and then you have scales. But if you don't draw the guitar and you just draw this going second, it's kind of really bad. So yeah, if you guys have the Windjammer, play the Windjammer. I only have 1, but you should definitely be playing 3 in my opinion. And I'll show you why later. Like, probably in the combo video, I'll probably be showing you guys the combo with the Solar Windjammer instead of this, because this is just in my, like, a better card, to be honest. And then to round off the monsters, I literally just played 3 hand traps, and the only 3 hand traps I played was the 3 Ash. That's all you needed. It's the most generic hand trap. You can play Ogre. It's not bad. You can play Droll. You can play anything else, but I personally think just 3 Ash is good enough. Ogre is really good in this deck if you choose. If you guys, okay, I'm gonna be honest, like, this deck is pretty budget, like, until you get to stuff like this. So if you don't have Ash or can't afford Ash or whatever, you can always just replace it for Ghost Ogres, which actually isn't horrible either, because you can pitch the Ghost Ogres if they're dead for the Galaxy Soldiers, and so at least Galaxy Soldier becomes a little more alive that way. So yeah, you guys don't have to play Ash, you guys can play Ogre, obviously, whatever other hand traps you guys have. But yeah, 3 hand traps was pretty good for me, and that's it for the monster count. Okay, so for the spell cards, I ran a very like low spell count because you guys saw like a very high monster count. 3 Union Hanger, Hardened Soul of the deck, as well as 2 Terraforming, because you just want to see it as fast as possible. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I saw Union Hanger like twice today. Like literally every round. Okay, like every round went into like game 3 basically, and I saw Union Hanger literally like twice or 3 times. It was so bad, like how much I didn't see this card. But like, it's not like you can't play it, or it's not like you don't play it. You have to obviously play it, because seeing this card is really good and makes your boards even like more nuts. But I'll show you like literally like you can make boards without Union Hanger. But yeah, of course, obviously having Union Hanger just makes everything so much easier. 3 Called by the Grave, because it's back at 3 and you don't want to lose to hand traps. But then when your opponent has like 4 hand traps, yeah, you can't really do anything. But for the most part, 3 Called by the Grave should be really good. This deck does lose to Called by the Grave as well, because if you try to Buster, they can Call by the Grave you, which kind of sucks. But I'll show you guys in the side deck how I like combat that and whatnot. But 3 Call by the Graves. Playing 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Soul Charge. This is just because this deck always wants to go first. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that already. This deck always wants to go first because you can actually set up like 3 negates with like a Buster. Like you can set up Phoenix, Griffin, Buster, and like an Infinity, and that's an amazing board. But then like obviously if you open Monster Reborn or Soul Charge, that board just becomes even easier to make. And then last but not least, I main decked a Skill Drain, and this was just because Skill Drain and Buster is really, really good. If you end up opening this, even if you don't open this, it's fine. If later in the game you have it in your hand and you don't need it, you can always just pitch it for something like a Phoenix or like one of those Nightmare cards. But opening it up is really, really good, because if you can set up a Buster board and then with a Skill Drain, it's just amazing. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. It's 40 card main deck. And yeah, we'll get on to the side deck, I guess, next. So for the side deck, I chose to play 1 Lancia. You should definitely probably play more than this, but luckily I didn't actually run into Thunder Dragon today. 2 Ghost Ogres. I don't know how I feel about this. I played Pendulum, or I only played Pendulum once today, but there were a good amount of Pendulum decks. So like I guess in theory this is really good against Pendulum. It's also good against the Dark Warrior deck as well. I played 3 Book of Eclipse. This was also for the Thunder Dragon matchup. So Lancia and Book of Eclipse would go in if I would play in the Thunder Dragon matchup. But to be honest, I sided Eclipse like mostly every game, to be honest. Just against all decks, it's really, really good. I was playing Dino, and my opponent made Logia, and so on my turn I go and I Eclipse him, and like it baited out his Logia so his monsters could stay like face up. But then I was like, okay, now I don't have to deal with my Logia, and then I made my board, and I'm pretty sure I won that game. That's why Eclipse just kind of goes in against everything. You're playing Double Twin Twister. Back row, you just want to get rid of it. That's basically all it's in for. And then this is where I was talking about, this is what you side in when you play against most decks, because a lot of decks will play Called by the Grave, and even if they don't main it, they'll side it. If you guys don't know, this is like a really like, I wouldn't say old school, but like when ABC came out and when this card came out, like right after ABC came out, this card was like a staple in it. So basically it says target 3 banished monsters, shuffle 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card, and then you can only activate once per turn. So this is really good, because if you act, let's say you make your ABC Buster and you try to tag out, and then they Called by the Grave your Buster, you basically lose your Buster and your 3 pieces. So where Pot of Acquisitiveness comes in is you can shuffle those 3 pieces back into your deck, and then it also gives you a draw. Also against other stuff, if you know, let's say you're playing against a Thunder Dragon player, and you know they're gonna wanna use Thunder Dragon Fusion, or they activate Thunder Dragon Fusion, you can put back their banished stuff into their deck already, and then you get to draw a card. And then people like, or you might be like, oh wait, why is that good? Because you're just putting it back into their deck for them. Well, now Fusion has to use their graveyard stuff, and then they have less graveyard resources. So instead of basically them putting it back, you get to put it back, but then you also get a draw. So Acquisitiveness is actually pretty good. You can play around with it. I think it's a really cool card. And then 3 Evenlies for going second. I know this is expensive, but and if you guys want to play budget, like for the most part, this deck is pretty budget. If you can't afford Evenlies, just basically play anything that can get over like or clear boards. Maybe a 3rd Twister, some more hand traps, and then 2 Red Reboot just for the back row. Altergeist is pretty popular, so Red Reboot for Altergeist or True Draco is really, really good. Okay, so for the extra deck now, I'm playing Triple Obviously Buster. A lot of people, okay, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but some people play it at 2, and I don't do that. Just don't do that. Then you're playing one Infinity, one Nova. Because you can make this turn 1 basically, not every turn I would say, but a lot of the time you can make this turn 1 pretty simply. Giga X, I didn't like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, when I first saw this, I'm like, why are people still playing Giga X? It's really bad. But then you actually realize like this card is actually really good. When you make it, and then you can search your heavy mech support armor, and then you link this away, and then you're getting a normal summon. A lot of the time, like if you have like a guitar with a mics, you'll get another normal anyways. So probably normal with the armor and get another monster. It's really good. I'm just gonna like say it, like you don't make it every turn, but when you do make it, it is very good. And then pricey stuff. You have Boral Sword, Boral Load, just Borals. One Nightmare Griffin. Griffin's very important, essential in this deck. I don't think like you can play this deck without it, to be honest, because a lot of your boards you'll end on a Griffin with some other monsters, probably like an Infinity ABC, like an Negate or whatever, and then you'll lock your opponent out from any special summon monster effects, which is really, really good. Unicorn, I hate this card so much. It's one of those cards that everyone plays, and it's a staple in every deck, but I don't make it, and I don't see a lot of people make it. Like, I made it once today, I think, and it was actually pretty good that one time, but otherwise, it was like, I didn't think it was amazing. It's like a staple kind of thing. And then one Trisbania in the main, because back row, just easy way to get rid of back row. I didn't have to make it today, but it's actually really, really good. Summon Sword, a lot of combos with this. You play Galaxy, so I played Galaxy Eye Soulfire Dragon, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, like, I didn't like it. There are combos. I guess in the combo video, I will show you the combos with the Soulfire Dragon, but I think I'm just gonna take it out, because even though there are really cool combos with it, and you can end off with like some really good boards with it, you don't make it enough to where it's needed in the deck, or in the extra deck, so you can probably take out this, maybe put a Dweller in, because sometimes you can end on a Dweller against like, the Dark Warriors and PK decks or whatever, and basically you'll just shut them out. So I don't really like this. I'll show you a combo with it, I guess, in the combo video, but yeah, you definitely don't need it. One Nightmare Phoenix, just because, back row removal, and then one Genius, because Genius is actually really, really good. His effect comes up where you can negate himself and then negate another monster on the field is really, really good. And then sometimes what will happen, let's say you make Genius first and then you end up flipping Skill Drain. Genius is actually not affected by Skill Drain, so a lot of the times you can actually activate it and then negate another monster, or negate another card effect on the field. And then a lot of time, if your Skill Drain is bothering you because some of your monsters can't activate effects, you can actually negate the Skill Drain and then negate something else on their side of the field, and then now the Skill Drain is negated, so you can activate your monsters. So it's kind of cool. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen. It can come up. So that's it for the 40 card main deck, and this is the extra deck. If you guys have any suggestions, obviously let me know. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure to spank that like button and subscribe to the channel. And with that, guys, Spanko signing out. Peace.